Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our terrific Tuesday workshop with Lois, our lovely Lois, who we are so grateful to. Every Tuesday morning, she makes it terrific. Today, we are in for a treat. We're doing a Better Bones workshop. We're joining Lois for this workshop, which is part lecture and part exercise, and she is going to explore with us the causes and dangers of bone loss, how we build bone cells, medication versus exercise to increase bone mineral density, and yoga poses that focus on bone strength. Be prepared to join in as we explore poses that strengthen the wrists, hips, legs, and spine. Please make sure that you have a yoga mat or chair, as well as a strap and a block or some books available. And please remember to hydrate, so grab that water. And this program is brought to you in part by Friends of Crestwood Library and Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter and the Yonkers Public Library. So we thank everybody for being here today. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Lois.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. So we're taking a break from Melt today to talk about bones, and it's all kind of connected. So welcome. I am going to right now share my screen. Desktop. Hold on. You know what? Share. Maybe Phil can do this. I'm not having a good. Hey, Phil.
Okay.
Can you do this?
Yeah, you have to just stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I want is the picture of the bone.
All right. 1 second here.
There it is.
Bone diagram?
Yep, bone diagram. Ooh, okay, everybody. Here's your bones. So what is a bone? What is a bone? So bones are very complex. First of all, they're living. You know, we think of them as not living, but they are living connective cells that have a dynamic current of nutrients and minerals that go in and out of the bone. Now, the important thing is we want our bones to be in balance. So just look at how complex these bones are. This is a femur bone here. We're going to be talking about the femur a lot. And there it is. Okay, go back to the presentation now. Yeah. The Better Bones workshop. There we go. Okay, here we go. All right. So now, how do these bones work? All right. So very, very simple is we have, in addition to all that complexity of the bones, we have two kinds of cells that are really important, the bone building cells and the bone eating cells. Now, on the average, this balance of this bone creation and bone absorptions balances at about 30, and then it starts to decline. Now, I have a little visual aid here. All right, here's our bone building cells, a happy, and here's our bone eating cells. So you're a baby, and you have all these bone building cells. You're building the bones, and you're having the nutrition, the calcium, and the building. And then you go to adolescence. You go to childhood, you go to adolescence, and then you get to be an adult, all right? At about 30, rather than all these bone building cells, as you reach maturity, the bone eating cells start to take over. In other words, there's more eating then. And now what's happening is you get more bone loss. Bone loss. This is just what naturally happens. What we need to do as we get older is that we need to to create this balance back again through intervention, because naturally our bones are just going to lose no matter who we are. Now, I'm going to give you some statistics here to take a look at to get your attention. 55% of everyone over the age of 50 has some bone loss. It doesn't mean you have osteoporosis, but some bone loss. 1 in 2 women, 1 in 4 men can get fractures, wrist, vertebrae, hip, and other fractures. Those are the most common ones. 32% of the women with a fracture before the age of 80, 32% of women will get a hip fracture. Doesn't mean you will, but statistically, that's how many people get hip fractures. And once you get a hip fracture, the mortality rate is 1 in 4 within the first year. So I wanted to kind of scare you a bit so that you pay attention to what we're doing today here. Now, there are other causes of bone loss besides just the natural bone loss. Heredity has a big part. My grandmother was little tiny. My mother had osteoporosis. I have osteoporosis. It's just, heredity has to do with it. As we age, of course, we have the natural osteoblasts, which are blasting out the bone cells, and the hormones. So you might notice that at menopause, when women lose estrogen and testosterone, that testosterone loss also has to do with bone loss, will very often become osteoporotic. Poor nutrition. So we'll talk about nutrition later, but nutrition is very important for keeping our bones healthy. And there's some prescription drugs that also can do that. I deal with cancer patients, and many of some of the drugs that people take after they've had breast cancer do attribute to bone loss, and the chemotherapy also. So this is a big problem for cancer survivors. And cigarette smoking. Now, these are just the major causes. Okay, move up, sir. Thank you. Whoop. Okay. Now, how do you know if you have bone loss? I mean, the bones are, you can't see them. Very often, if you suspect bone loss, your doctor will give you a DEXA, which is a scan. And that will, let's look at picture 2. Picture 2. That's called the bone loss picture. Phil? Hello? All right, well, we'll look at it later. So you get the DEXA scan, and it will tell you how thick and solid your bones are. Now, you may have got one and you got a number and you say, oh, what does that number mean? I don't know what that number means. Well, if you're at 0, again, is kind of like our balance, right? When you start in the negative numbers, then you're showing some bone loss. So this DEXA compares you to a healthy 30-year-old before the natural bone loss starts. So a -1 to a -3 is a bone loss. A lot of bone loss. 1 to -2.2 is osteopenia, which is the danger zone. And then greater than -2.5 is osteoporosis. So a lot of you might have heard the word osteoporosis, osteopenia. That's what it means. If you have osteoporosis, you need immediate attention. Okay. And if it's osteopenia, you also should start to work towards increasing your bone density. Now, the dangers about osteoporosis, of course, are broken bones and spinal fractures. So, in my yoga classes, everybody, in my MEL class, I tell you to sit up straight, sit up straight. So when you slump, if you have fragile bones, you can get micro fractures in them. So we always want to sit up straight. We want to keep our spine long. But spinal fractures are a big danger. Then hip fractures, we know that that's the most common one. And then what happens? You're in a wheelchair, you're in a walker, you can't dance anymore. And then the other ones, the wrist, the ankle, the elbow, the shoulder, the knee, often they happen when you break a fall. I know I fell down the stairs, I put my hand here, I broke my wrist. And for me, my wrist happens to be the one that I have the most osteoporosis in. So let's talk about how we build the better bones. And there's a lot of options. Some of the options are certain medications. There's hormone replacement therapy, which we have found has been dangerous in some ways also, and supplements. So those are the ways that the medical ways that we can build it. Can we move up a little, please? Hello. Hey, oh, could you show that picture of the bone, the osteoporosis bones? It's called the second bone picture. Oh, okay, so there it is. So you see all those holes in the bones there? This is a bone that is osteoporotic. And then here's one. So normally you have little holes in there, but when the holes get really big, the bone becomes very fragile. Okay, thank you, Phil. Back to the text. Okay, thank you. Oh, you're getting good at this. All right. So the first thing is today I'm going to talk about the non-medical ways to build your bones. And I'd like to bring attention to diet and things that have calcium in it that we don't think of very more. And these are the vegetables that are very, very high in bone building nutrients. The vegetables are, and they're not all green. We say leafy green: cauliflower, watercress, parsley, Brussels sprouts, rutabaga, kale, mustard greens, bok choy, broccoli, and turnip greens. So when I go to the store and I think about all these things, I say, oh, well, I never could get into mustard greens, but thinking of buying these and eating these vegetables will help your bones. Now the proteins, these are ones that have high amounts of bone building nutrients. Oysters, soft shell crabs, anchovies, and sardines with the bones. So you eat those bones. And then minerals rich with a rich stock. So bone broth is like very hip these days. And whenever, I make a soup, I take the bones first. I take the chicken off the bones and I cook the bones for a few hours, and that actually enriches it. I'm going to talk to you about a cookbook that I use that also uses like a ham hock in when you cook kale or collards. So collards aren't one of the ones that have the most, but there's a collard recipe I use that uses a ham hock. Okay, now that's the diet. Now we're going to go to the part that this workshop is focused on. Bones grow stronger in response to use. Now the pressure on the bone cells encourages the growth of the bone builders, the osteocytes. I saw I was in the workshop, a melt workshop. There was a video of the bone cell itself, and they took a probe and they probed the bone cell, pressed into it, and they saw that after 30 seconds, they could see the bone builders start to activate. So this has been seen microscopically. And so they know that between 30 seconds to 1 minute, those bone cells can be activated with pressure. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, how do you get the pressure? Well, gravity can do the pressure. The astronauts went up to space. They became osteoporotic because with no gravity, their bones started to actually get weaker. Weight building exercises, and just the muscle, your muscles pushing against the bones. So let's talk about the three different types of exercise. So The exercises we have are the weight-bearing exercises that you probably do every day. And this is building your bone. Walking, hiking, dancing, climbing stairs. Just gravity is helping you to build your bones. But not enough for many people. So then you need to go maybe to strength training exercises. And strength training exercises can use weights, resistance bands, isometrics, and then swimming against the resistance of water. So not just floating, but if you're really swimming, I saw an advertisement for a wave pool where the water is pushing into you. So any kind of resistance. So thinking about putting that pressure on the bones. And now we're going to get to what I'm going to talk to you, what my favorite is yoga. And these are the advantages of yoga in addition to the bone building. You've got flexibility, you've got deep breathing, which helps with your transfer. Woo! Okay, there we go. It helps you with balance, and that's going to help you to prevent falls. Your posture to, again, prevent that forward bending. Strength. And yoga has no side effects, no medical side effects. It's free, it's portable, and anyone can do yoga. And the poses I'm going to show you today, I'm going to show you modifications for different abilities. All of these poses need to, in terms of that building your bones, done with maximum effort to strengthen these poses. So as we do these poses today, you may see that we're going to do them a little different than the way that you might do them in a regular yoga class, because we're going to try to do these poses to help to build the bone. So I am going back here into my mat. Now, these poses have been, are taken from Dr. Lauren Fishman, who has created a series, 3 series of Yoga for Better Bones series that have been shown scientifically to build bones. I have picked 5 poses here in order to address the different areas of your body that that can be strengthened, but there are many more poses. So if you can transition to your mat or your chair. Okay, I'm going to take this off and hope that you can still hear me. Here's my chair. And here's my mat. Okay. Phil, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yep. Yeah, we're all good.
Thumbs
Yes.
up. Yep, you're good, Lois.
I can't hear you. Okay. So the first pose is our tree pose. And this is going to work on the legs, specifically the thighs and the hip. Now we all know tree pose, right? I do a tree pose, but we're going to do a tree pose really pressing to get the most effort into our legs and our hips. So the first way we're going to start it is on a chair. For those of you who have trouble with balance. And as we're in a chair here, we're going to try to turn out. And we're going to press down, really press down with your feet. Now remember when we do the melt, how we press down in the feet. Press down in the feet. so that you really feel the muscles wrapping around the bones, and you feel the bone pressing into the earth. And then we're going to press down into the chair. Now, we're going to use our effort in two directions. We're pressing down, and now we're going to press up, and we're going to really reach these fingers and reach the fingers. Can't see my fingers, but they're reaching, so that when we talk about the being dynamic, we're really pressing. See those fingers reaching, like I'm going to touch the ceiling. And you're going to breathe, and we're going to hold it for 30 seconds, if possible. And with each exhalation, just press down more. Press down your foot into the floor. Press your foot into the chair. Press your fingers into the ceiling. And keep breathing. And release. Whoa. Now, did you notice the difference when you did that pose and maybe when you've done a tree pose and other times? Thinking about pressing down and pressing up. Now, for those of you who want to get a little bit more, you can try doing the tree pose holding on to the chair this way. So first, let's go into our Tadasana. And you know, every week when we do our melt, how I tell you to press down in the Tadasana and press those feet down, press. Same thing, press down with those feet. Now turn the foot out and find a place. I'm going to use the other foot. Find a place anywhere. Now I'm going to put it in my thigh just because, and I am going to press that foot into that thigh, and that thigh into that foot, and that standing leg. I'm going to really press it down. Now keep breathing. Don't press so much. Now that pressure of that foot onto that thigh is really working to build that bone. I'm going to bring one hand up. I'm going to try to just engage my belly just a bit because that helps with it. Find a focus. Sorry, I forgot to tell you to find the focus. And keep pressing. Do not press into the knee, anybody, and you know that. Now you might press here too. That's fine also, wherever you're going to press. And I'm sorry, I don't have a timer here. But note that you would, when you do this on your own, you could have some kind of a timer to do 30 seconds. Maybe I'll ask Siri if Siri will do 30 seconds for me. All right, so that's our tree pose to work with the thighs and the hip. Our next pose, we're going to come down for our next poses. We're going to come down to our mat. Have your blocks and your, you don't need the chair anymore for this. Now, if you cannot come to your mat, well, they're really, Dr. Fishman doesn't have a way to do not doing it with a mat. I do it a different way. But anyway, if you're not coming down to your mat and you want to do it on the chair, we're going to do the bridge pose. Is there anybody here who cannot come down on the mat? Just raise your hand. Raise your hand with the reactions. If there's nobody, if everyone wants to come down on the mat, then I won't do the chair one. Okay. So the bridge pose here. Now you know how important the spine is. We want to get the back of the spine to get compression. Now, if you have back pain, you have spondylolisthesis or certain things, be mindful with this. I have some back pain. I'm going to do a little bit of an adjustment with it also. You're going to lie down, have your block. And the first one, just press into your feet. Really press into the feet. The feet are hip width apart. Just press into the feet. Press, press, press. And just kind of lift up just a bit, just to notice. But you want to press towards the knees. Imagine the knees are going out towards the front of you. Just press, 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 press. Now keep those shoulders down and press down also here with the arms. So we're also pressing down with our arms. And press, 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 press. And then you can just put a block here. This is the easiest one. And just keep pressing your foot, your feet down, your knees away from you, your upper arms down, and just press, 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 press. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so you feel the lengthening here and feel the pressure on those ankles. Feel the pressure on your upper arms. Press your shoulder blades down. And release. Now we're going to do it without the block. And we're going to bring our hands underneath us, and we're going to really open the shoulders. We're going to press down again. We're going to press down and inhale. And as you exhale, now we're going to keep your shoulders down. You're going to press up, and you're going to push those knees away. Try not to scrunch the butt so much. Try to just push away, 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 and press those feet in. I shouldn't be turning my head. And then you can take your hands, and you can clasp your hands together and really open that shoulders and press away. So we're opening up the back. This is actually good for a herniated disc. If you have a herniated disc, which, no, a bulging disc, excuse me, or herniated disc, this is good for that. Then, actually, Dr. Fishman showed me this. You can put the block in there and press, 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 press. So I'm doing a little bit of variation from what's in the series. And really press, 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 press. It's all about pressing and really engaging. Feel the back of your neck opening and opening that chest, really pressing the hands down into the floor. Breathing. Sometimes it's hard to remember to breathe when you're in, and then come down slowly. Okay, so that's the back of the spine. All right, the next one, it's going faster than I thought, is we're going to work on the hips, top of the hips, femur, and the legs. We're going to use our strap for this. This is our hand to toe pose. Now, anybody who's on a chair does not want to get down, you can do this on the chair. Is there anybody, raise your hand if I see anybody wanted me to show you this on the chair? No? Okay. All right.
Lois, people can unmute themselves. I gave them that capability. So if anybody wants to unmute, if they don't have a hand to, don't have a bar for the reactions, they can't find it, you just let Lois know.
I'm going to show it on, I'm going to show it on the chair anyway. So we are on the chair. Now, the important thing of this on this chair is that you must have a straight spine. We're going to think about those vertebrae, thinking about what can happen in those vertebrae. We want to be straight. Now, this chair is not straight. So I'm not going to lean back on this chair. I'm going to be straight up in this chair. I'm going to grab. And then, again, like you were on the floor, pressing your shoulder blades towards each other, squeezing them together, pushing your heel away, your toe towards you, your thigh down, your heel away, your toe towards you. And this foot is down, and we breathe. Really getting feeling this femur here, this hip bone going right into the socket. And again, you might notice that your breath, because you're really working hard. So working hard is part of this building the bone, really pressing, resistance. Remember I said resistance bands. Isometric, when they first had isometric, this is an isometric move here. Oh. And then we'll try the other one. So if you don't want to get down on your, after you do your melt with your feet and you're sitting down, you just pick up your strap and you can work on your bones too. So here's another option for you guys. Now, part of this whole series that I've done over these last months is to help you to create your own wellness program. And what I'm showing you today is also to help you to take charge of your wellness program and to do on these things on your own. Just like the melt you'll be doing on your own also. Okay, let's go down to our mat now. For those of you who want to go down to the mat. And we're going to lie down on the mat. And depending on your back and depending on the, oh, look at this sun here. You stretch your right leg, go into the right leg first. You can keep this bent. If you are flexible, you can stretch it out. I'm going to keep it bent first to show you. Let's keep it bent. Again, we're going to bring this strap here. I like to kind of roll the strap to get a grip. And now I'm going to press down with my shoulder blades. Press those shoulder blades into the mat. Press the heel up to the ceiling. Press the toes towards your face. Press your thigh bone away. And now as you press it down, you see how the hip goes down? Press so that both hip points are down on the mat. And now I can say, can I straighten it? I can straighten it. But that doesn't mean you need to straighten it. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could also bring your hands up. I just like to bring my hands, I like to bend them just so that I have the connection with the floor, so that my shoulder blades don't separate and that my shoulder blades are also connected to the floor. You can do it anyway. And breathe. Very important to breathe. And now you notice that, my hip is coming down toward the floor just a bit more. I'm going to feel a stretch in your hamstrings. You'll definitely feel a stretch in your hamstrings. If that's okay for you, then go for it. And let's release. And let's do the other leg. Start with the leg bent. And I can kind of wind myself up to the strap. Press those shoulder blades down. Press, and imagine that you're just sinking this whole bone into the hip socket, and that you're pressing this thigh away from you as your heel is going up to the ceiling, your toe is coming back. So again, this is the dynamic use of the pose that we're talking about. And breathe. And I know a little micro movement of getting deeper into the hip socket as I'm doing this. I can feel that. Good on time. And release. Oh, okay. All right, so I think we have time to do the external one. So for this one, we're going to turn our foot out. I like to put my hand on my, so I'm turning the right foot out. I like to put my hand on my left hip down, and now I'm going out to the side. So this is the hand to foot out to the side, and this area in the hip bone, in that femur socket, then going straight. Again.
Is your left knee bent? Or is your left knee up?
It is not, but if it needs to be, you can. The important.
Okay, otherwise, all right, I got it.
Yeah. So I'm not so set up here for, okay, here we go. So here we go. The important thing is keep that left hip down. Put your hand down on that hip. The heel goes away, and you may find a little bit of an arch in the back. That's what's going to have to happen. And heel away, and then press. Imagine that you're pulling this femur, this leg bone, this thigh bone into the socket to really encourage that hip joint to have some bone growth or less bone loss, let's say. Flex both feet, flex your extended leg. Even your extended leg should be active. Don't just let it go floppy, floppy. Just flex it and really squeeze those muscles to those bones. And then the other one. So we're straight right leg. I'm going to go right into my cabinet here. And we go out. And we press. I like to press my right hip down. I flex, 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 and then bring it in. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. And again, it would be 30 seconds or more. And release. Okay. Let's do some sitting poses now. Okay, what do I have? Okay, so let's do a sitting pose now. So let's see, we did the ankles, the feet, the hips. Now we're going to really work on the spine again. So we worked on the back of the spine. Now we're going to work on all of the spine, the neck, the rib cage, the lumbar region, and it's all the major fracture sites. And this is the piece de la resistance pose. It covers it all, and it's called the seated twist. We're going to start. Oh, let me show you on the chair. So on the chair with seated twist, I like to cross my legs. So I'm not doing these exactly as Dr. Fishman is doing them to show you right now, but there will be options for you to use his techniques. The important thing with this is both sit bones are down. So actually, let's do it this way. This is better. You know what? Blocking. Get a little inner thigh while you're at it. Why not? Okay. Now, inhale and get really tall. Imagine your vertebrae separating and getting tall. Reach your head up to the sky and reach your sits bones into the chair. So 2 directions again. Inhale, sits bones down. Head up. Head up, head up, head up, head up, head up, head up. Okay, and squeeze. So I like to reach my hands up and bring them this way. So this is my own versions of this pose right now. And we start to just move the waist just here. Start to feel that waist turning. And then we turn all the way. We inhale, get tall, 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 tall. Exhale, turn, and then drop your hands. Drop one hand here by your thigh, press into your thigh. Take your other hand, hold the back of the chair, and twist. Now, as you're here, you're going to inhale. Now, I want you to press both sit bones down, especially that left sit bone if you're going to the right. Press them down. With the inhalation, get tall, 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 and exhale, twist, 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 twist. We're getting a lot of work here, those of you that have the block in here too. And do this for 2 more breaths. Inhale, lengthen, 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 lengthen. Exhale, twist, 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 twist. Twist, 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 twist. Inhale, lengthen, 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 lengthen. Exhale, twist, 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 twist. You're twisting from the belly all the way up to your neck. And last time, we're going to come out of it. Inhale, lengthen, 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 lengthen. Exhale, twist to the center. Now you feel the exertion with that pose? I do. Take 3 breaths and just release. And let's go to the other side. So what I like to do is I like to go up, reach, 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 reach those fingers, dynamic, dynamic, and then come into your open cactus pose. Squeeze, and then start to move from the wrist. Now, the idea here is that you're seeing if you can twist and keep both butt cheeks down, keep both hip bones down. And, okay, one more time. Whew, like a windmill. Hand here, hand behind. Next time I inhale, I'm gonna go high, high, high. Lift, lift, press those. So you're pressing the hip bone down as you press the head up, lifting all those vertebrae of the spine, and then exhale and twist just a bit more. Your left shoulder goes back, your right shoulder goes forward. We're really working the entire spinal area with this pose. And breathe, and breathe, and breathe. 2 more breaths. Inhale, and come back to the center. So normally if you're in a class for yoga for osteoporosis, we would hold them for 30 seconds. But because of time, I'm just showing you them so that you have can get the pose. All right. Now we're going to do it on the floor for those of you who can get on the floor. Some people might need to put a little blanket underneath your your hips if you find that your hips can't stay down. It's very important to keep the hips down. We're going to bring our right foot forward. Now look at how straight my back is. Go to the side and look into the mirror and look into that and make sure that you're not slumping. Forward bends are very, very detrimental to people that have bone loss. So this is why I'm always telling you, press your shoulders together. All right, now get really, really tall here. Flex the extended foot. I'm flexing so much, it's almost coming off so that I'm engaging that. I'm bringing this in and I'm going to take a few breaths. Really feel the connection of your butt cheeks and those hips to the floor. And now I'm going to come up again. I'm going to do the same thing because I find this is easier. We're going to go into this cactus and then we're going to start to twist again. So seeing if you can twist and keep both butt cheeks, keep both hip bones on the floor. So we're doing like a little windmill here. And then the windmill goes all the way over, and then you're going to either hold this way, put this down, press down, hold this way. You can even pull your belly in if you want. And this is the pose. You can look back, twisting so that the neck is also twisting. And if you have stenosis in the neck, you let's be careful with this, Kay. I know you have the neck stenosis, so you might want to just look forward, but really lengthen that neck. I'm going to turn around, and then I'm going to show you another option for those of you. I know there are a couple of yogis here. You can go like this, and you can even get more compression. Now, we talked about compression with melt. This is the same thing. This is the compression of our bones. Melt is the compression of our fascia. And here we go. This shoulders coming forward, the shoulders coming back. I'm looking back. I'm in a complete twist. And I'm not slumped. I'm in each inhalation. You lengthen that spine. With the exhalation, twist around, twist around. And breathe. And it's going to be a little more difficult to breathe because you have your lungs are twisted. But try to keep a steady breath. Don't hold your breath. Oh, look what happened. I just forgot my foot. I let it go. Everything is dynamic in yoga for bone growth. Everything is dynamic. And release. Slowly, 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 slowly. Take a few breaths in neutral. Take in the effects that you might feel from this pose. Bring both feet forward. No, look, and see if your back is still straight. And then the left foot. And let's do the same thing. Let's reach up. And then this brings our shoulders down. And then it opens our chest too. So it reminds us to open our chest. And let's just do the windmill. Coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Until I'm all the way and I'm going to grab and bring my hands back. Now you see the back of me. And I hope that you're seeing a nice straight back. And as I inhale, I'm lengthening up. And as I exhale, I'm twisting a little bit more. But each time you inhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Now both butt cheeks should be on the floor if possible. And if it's not possible, then the next time you do this, you put a blanket under you so that you're really connecting those hip bones to something solid. And breathe. And then if you want to do the extended version, If you have that flexibility, you really press your arm, upper arm into your thigh bone into your upper arm. Everything is dynamic, everything is strong, the length is strong, the pressure is strong, the pressure of the hand, the pressure of the, even the extended leg. And then slowly release. Okay. So the last pose that I'd like to show you is a pose for wrist strength. It's not even really a pose. Dr. Fishman kind of invented this to help with, as I had told you, my osteoporosis is my wrists. So it's called arm threading. And what we're going to do, and those of you who have been in my hand and foot cramp, we've been doing this in the hand and foot. So you may be familiar with it too. First, let's see how flexible our wrists are. So just press, press. Now, those of you who have carpal tunnel, I would not suggest this if you have carpal tunnel that's active. It may exasperate it. But let's just press. All right, press. And then bring this forward. Just kind of seeing how thumbs up. Bring it forward. Just kind of seeing on the flexibility of our wrists. All right, let's do the pose. Reach out. Turn your right over your left and connect. Now, the most intense way is to connect right here. But if you're not able to, you can connect anywhere. I'm going to connect right in here. And as I said, those of you who've been in my melt classes, we've done this about 3 or 4 times already. Now squeeze here, bend your elbows, and come around. And you see one elbow is higher than the other. You're going to feel a compression and a stress right on the wrists. So if you have osteoporosis in your wrists, just be mindful that, you know, your own strength, be mindful. And now bring it down, bring the elbows down, and you're going to feel a nice stretch in the trapezius muscles too. Bring your shoulder blades towards each other a bit so that we're really dynamic in this pose. And if you feel you can do anything else, you can try and bring the wrists towards the camera a bit. I'm not bringing it anymore, but some of you might be able to keep your shoulder blades towards each other, your neck long, and you're going to feel that pressure. You're going to feel that that stress on these wrist bones. And now to release slowly, lift. Whew. And let's just bring the shoulders around. Whew. Okay, we did right over left. Now we're going to do left over right. It might look different to you. So reach out, left over right, and turn. Palms go together. Thread. Really get into the joint if it's possible. And start to bend your elbows. Bring it down. Slowly bring it back up. And shoulders down, elbows down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the neck, lift the neck, lift the neck. I can feel a nice stretch in my shoulder muscles there, my trapezius muscles also. So there's lots of other benefits that you're getting from this pose. And breathe. Oh, we're good. And to release, undo yourself. And bring your shoulders towards. Ooh. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. I'm going to be giving you some resources now. So one of the leading researchers in yoga for osteoporosis. And this is a book I have studied with him. And there are classes available that you can take where you can get the whole series, which is shown to increase bone loss, bone increase bone growth. Another book I found I had is Yoga for People Over 50. This had a very good section on yoga for bone loss. And this is my cookbook, which gives recipes that include all of the foods that are the highest in calcium and all the other nutrients that are needed for bones. So in addition to, and as you know, I encourage everybody to continue your wellness past my classes. There is classes available. Now, I take a class every Saturday on a strength training exercise class. If you're interested in it, you can contact Judy Townsend. The information is there. It's a 1-hour class just for women with osteoporosis, osteopenia. Dr. Fishman, my friend Sarah has, who's also my teacher, has a bone health yoga class every week on Wednesdays, where she will take you through all of the poses that Dr. Fishman recommends, guaranteed to increase bone density. And you can also take with Dr. Fishman himself through his site, lauren@sciatica.org. And these are not free classes. So there are fees for these classes, but your health is worth it. So let's have a few minutes for questions. I think that Sarah is on the, is here. I'm not sure if Judy is, but if you have questions for them, they will be here also, or they will tell you how to contact them. Okay.